All right, we're here at our house in the Hollywood Hills with Chad. Now, Chad is somebody who is not just an entrepreneur. He's had many businesses. So he's went from real estate, he's created companies that are now in marketing, and his main business now is in influencer marketing. I introduced Chad to Big Mike, and they were talking about how Big Mike wants him to get involved with influencer marketing for his brand, his company, because he's interested in becoming not just the CEO of a company, but an influencer in not just his niche, which was in the marijuana business, but also an influencer into self-help in general. He's working on a book. But what's interesting about what you're doing is that you have the ability to basically connect with pretty much not just influencers and models and the fitness industry, but pretty much any influencer on the planet. You could get influencers, put them in touch with brands and corporations, and then build it in a very powerful way to make impact and make money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got the idea of entering this business, how you got into this, and what you're doing now to make an impact in other brands using influencer marketing?
It's funny, I got a call from a buddy of mine who's now, we just came from Olympia in Vegas. He's now 3-time Mr. Olympia in bodybuilding. But after his initial win, him and his family had given me a call and wanted some business advice on his next steps in his career. So I took that project on helping him out. And for the next 6 to 8 months, I traveled around and went to expos and followed the fitness industry, studied social media pretty much, studied how we could monetize what he's doing and the amount of following that's coming his way. And it just was like a light bulb that hit in my head. This was, 2 years ago now, so it was right in the beginning of the influencer world. So the light bulb flicked and I saw huge potential, influencer marketing. As I tell everybody, influencer marketing is the next era of marketing when you need to capture the masses, because there is no commercial, there is no TV show, there is no billboard that will reach the masses for a cheaper price.
I was talking to Tucker Max about this exact topic because he believes that the future of PR, press, and getting your message out there for corporations and brands, the power is going to be stronger in influencer marketing and influencer social media than it will be in the mainstream media.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I think that the main thing is about relationships, and you were establishing relationship with a large following of people, a personal one they could trust. Right. I would trust an influencer rather than I would trust a typical journalist, just because you know so much more about that person.
Exactly.
Now you're building and creating the brands for these, celebrities in, Instagram celebrities, in YouTube celebrities, and Periscope, or pretty much all these other influencers. Why do these people come to you?
Well, that's a good question. So amongst my Rolodex of people I can contact and the people I work with, it's just like you, and kind of off subject, but I tell everybody you are one of the biggest networkers in the world. And that's, the influencer world is small. It's all, it's all networking. Once you get a large following, everyone knows everyone, or everyone knows of everyone. So as soon as there's proven success or proven brand development, the word goes out. So if the word isn't directly to Chad Nutsch, myself, it's to someone I work with, one of my partners, or someone that my partners know. So that world is very small. Once we prove what we can do with brand development, what we can do with influencer marketing, again, it's a small world. It just comes along.
What are some of your favorite success stories?
Favorite success stories? I won't say any names,
sure.
But I had an influencer come my way, and this person had a income that we made 11 times larger within 6 months. So that's one of my favorite. Obviously, dollar signs are my favorite, but that was it was awesome. We watched a build in 6 months. We hammered it hard, and we watched the income, it literally triple, quadruple, all the way up to 11 times that amount, and about 400,000 followers in 6 months.
Now, the girls that I've met that have been under your management have been people that are doing millions of followers on Instagram. And also you have a talent that is like Mr. Olympia, yeah, and all sorts of really interesting people. Yeah. I guess, what are the things that you do to make it so these people are not just connecting with brands, but also what are you doing for the influencers themselves? Is it mostly money? Is it travel? Is it the network?
The most important thing is brand development. I'm the guy that looks from the outside in, and I put together this strategy to further brand yourself, to take you outside of your niche, just like Big Mike. You know, we talked about his niche, and one of the first things I said is we got to get you outside of just that niche. We need followers from every category looking at Big Mike. Not only is he extremely successful, not only is he in the marijuana business, not only does he throw some of the best parties in the world, but he's also can be your mentor. He can be someone you look up to, and he can be someone for business advice. And that's a very important structure to have. And that's what I do for anyone I get in contact with, or anyone that contacts me. You know, whether I bring them on for management with this, it's very, very unlikely I'm gonna deal with any more management, because it's not fair to dilute the people I have under my belt now. And it really has to be a strategic partnership. But I tell everyone the exact same thing, is you have to focus on monetizing, growing that brand, growing it the right way. You have to have someone from the outside in. So it's just very important to have someone that's not living that day-to-day life and look from the outside in and say, look, this is how you can grow, this is how you can widen your to the masses, and this is how you can monetize.
You kind of remind me of my chief marketing officer, because you're traveling around the world with your influencers and making sure that they're getting the deals that need to get done. You're making sure they're staying on schedule. You're introducing them to ways to get more revenue and income. Yeah. And you're kind of like on this world tour, like our guys are continually traveling around the world on a world tour. Yeah. How would you describe your typical year? Like, what are you doing? Are you traveling like almost every week? Are you connecting with people locally here in Los Angeles? What is your main focus in terms of your time?
So, and that's a good question. Also, monetizing time, as you know, it's very, very important. You have to make sure you spend your time wisely. And one of the things about influencer marketing that is tough is you're in the beginning of the new era of marketing. So you're not getting the budgets that the huge budgets yet. You're not getting the commercial budgets. So we're building all those things. So it's a lot of work to get all these different places, get in front of different people all over, and give them the exact same pitch. Not a sales pitch, but a reality pitch of what is next. This is the new era, and this is how we can grow your brand in a transparent format. So yeah, my travel schedule is crazy. I've been on the road for 3 weeks. I've been back to LA for 2 days. This is my 3rd day back in LA in 3 weeks. We leave tomorrow to Barcelona to Mykonos, Greece, Budapest, Hungary, Warsaw, Poland, back here for 6 days, 3 days on the East Coast, 3 days on the West Coast, back out to Dortmund, Germany, Amsterdam. It's a journey, but it's enjoyable.
You're going to my favorite place of vacation, Mykonos. I love that place. We did an RC executive retreat out there, and I know that you could get some amazing photo shoots out there.
Yeah. We're staying at one of the best resorts out there. I cannot wait. That is actually, no, I have not. Ibiza and Mykonos were my debate. And it's funny, everything is business related except for this. There is no pay for this trip to Mykonos. But again, everything is strategic. We're going to Mykonos to get the best content you can get. When you look at the content we put together with the influencers in Mykonos, Greece, as a brand, you're gonna say, wow, if my product was in this picture with the amount of engagement, impressions, and reach this picture is getting, imagine what kind of growth as a brand you could have had. And that's the goal.
So it sounds like a lot of your focus is taking the people that are the influencers that are kind of like under your management and guidance, and trying to grow their influence and make it more impactful, higher quality content to impress the fans. And that's kind of like your main thing. And then you're partnering with companies and trying to utilize the brand that they've developed, relationship they've developed, and that's how you're leveraging their money, right?
Exactly.
So what are your main products and services that you're offering?
It all depends on the influencer. Depending on the influencer, if your niche, like you know, Big Mike has his own niche. You know, it's very different. So he has to be strategic. If he were an influencer, let's say, and he's not, he kind of is, but if he were one, he would have to stay inside of his realm. So for instance, I have a fitness model. Fitness models deal with supplements, fitness clothes. I have Sandra Pricker, she's also a kickboxer. So we're working on a partnership with the largest brand in combat sports right now. You go all the way across every health supplement, anything to do with that niche. And then also it curves back into the same thing. We do the amazing content so we can wrap right back around into fashion. We can wrap right back into jewelry, accessories, you know, everything. We want to be available, and we want to have that reach as wide as possible to work with as many brands as possible.
So I did an interview with 50 Cent's agent, and he's in charge of like booking a ton of his gigs and made him his first $1 million. Wow. And at other times, I've also managed people that are managers of the talent. Are you kind of like a combination of the two, or are you kind of like one more than the other?
So I only fully manage a couple people because, again, I don't want to dilute them, and it's a lot of work. As you pretty much, I do every bit of that for the ones I work with now. Outside of that, I'm with our influencer marketing company, which is getundertheinfluence.com, which we're building right now. Pretty much, I'm just the middleman. I'm taking brands. We're strategically, me and my partners are strategically looking at the influencers we can use with the top softwares, breaking down their location, their engagement, their reach, per their location, per their niche. We look at everything. We break it down and figure out what's going to fit best. Our goal is when a brand comes to us, there is no one else in the world that can put together a campaign better than us, because we have the statistics, the analytics. We look at everything. And a part of me traveling around and working with these influencers direct on isn't, that's not, I don't look at that as money signs. I look at that as building for the future that we have with influencer marketing. I want to be able to do it just as good, if not better, than anybody.
Well, you're the creator of your own company and your own team. Could you describe who are the people that are on the team of an influencing marketing company, and what did you develop?
So pretty much it's funny with influencer marketing. You would think, oh, you have a main photographer, a main videographer, but no, we use the top photographers all over the world because we want to cross promote. We want to cross promote, so we're pushing that photographer's pushing our influencers, the top videographers in the world. We cross promote with them, so they're shooting. We don't have any direct content guys. I've got Shane Barker, he's on my team. He's one of the biggest bloggers out there. He writes for all the best blogs. He has a influencer marketing ebook that's out. I'm very strategic with everybody we work with. We're partnered with Verified Models, which is Camille Hagan, and he's with Jay, also that's Dan Bilzerian's videographer, which he's one of the best in the world. Shout out to him. So we're just partnered all the way across the board. We work with the best of the best. It's not a competitive market. We all know what's out there. We've all been a part of it, and we just link up and make it happen.
Your business is one that kind of relies on word of mouth in order to generate it, because it's a very specific and unique thing for people to get access to celebrity talent and to network your way in there. So you must have, from the very beginning, kind of networked your way into certain soul circles, and then got the trust of these people to show that you could, manage their talent. What was kind of that first talent that you got to really influence and grow?
I couldn't name a first influencer, but as far as you're one of the biggest networkers there is. As once you start building success for yourself, everyone from all over is reaching out to you for advice. And a joy I've always had is being an influence myself. So I always take the time to influence and give my direction to anyone who ever reaches out. So it's just always been a part of my character. And so this fits in perfectly because I actually genuinely care. I'm transparent about those types of things. So I feel like I'm confident to say I've been an influence for dozens and dozens of people, and that transparency, that honesty, and that loyalty that I've always provided has got me in the social circle that I'm at now at 25 years old. Just like we met, we immediately hit it off because, you're extremely genuine, you're extremely transparent, and again, you see the value of another person, and that's I love connecting with people like that.
Well, I think the mindset is about always trying to be the better person.
Yep.
The better person in the sense that you're willing to offer value to other people, not necessarily expecting anything back, but if you get it, then that's how you are actually becoming rich.
Exactly.
That actually is turning into a video that I'm creating that is going to be on my other channel. Not my other channel, my other show. It's a show called Ask Nick Kosher, where the title of the video is about that particular topic, but it's going to be obnoxiously titled "Why I'm Rich and Better Than You."
But it's true. It's funny you say that because we talked about it earlier. Mindset is the most important thing. Mindset is the most important thing. If the very first time me and you met, if all I saw was dollar signs and seeing how you could make me more money, we wouldn't be here today. I enjoy the actual personal relationship, the actual in-depth, deep conversations. I enjoy the business conversations, the stories about the things you've done. I don't have to fake those things and act like I care because I genuinely do care. So in that process, we both show the exact same characteristics back, and that's how you truly network. And I don't think it's something you can really build. It's just something you enjoy.
Yeah, people are always asking me, how do I come up with things to say when I'm networking with other people? But you got to have that genuine curiosity, interest in other people, and also be genuinely just a person that has the mindset that you're out to help other people, not necessarily expecting something back, and also being interested in people that might have a way to connect you. And also trying to figure out what that person's passion is. How can you offer value to other people that you're interacting with, and trying to find all the loops and all the angles of how you can strategically maneuver it in a certain way. I guess what you're probably really good at is being that strategist that kind of is able to find all the different angles, put it together, and then connect.
Exactly. I love looking at things from an outside perspective and trying to give my insight. It may not be worth a penny, but I just love to do it till I can get critiqued back. You know, if you're in an industry and you say, how would you do this? I would so enjoy looking at it and trying to strategize how I would do it. Whether you look back at me and say, I've tried that, it doesn't work. This is where you went wrong. I love to learn in that process, and I also give people the exact same insight when it comes to networking and it comes to learning. How did you do that? How did you build that network? How did you build to where you are now? And I tell everybody the exact same thing. An athlete cannot be great without practice. You have to enjoy practice. You have to enjoy the process of being great. And I enjoy learning. I enjoy networking. I enjoy the entire process.
I love that. It's like I love the game is a statement I used to say all the time. It's the process of the game that you're playing. Whether it's the game in the dating life or the game in the business life. It's the one thing I used to say all the time. I used to write field reports about what I was doing in terms of my dating life. And I started doing my business life. But I love the game. You got to love the process. It's not just a result. You have to enjoy playing it.
You truly do. Imagine if you were in this world and you didn't enjoy it at all. There's no way you could prosper.
Definitely. Now, I think that one of the skill sets that we kind of train within our company at Real Social Dynamics is the art of cold approach, walking up to people cold. And we train people who are business owners, like people that are involved in the Summit Series, and how they use the same skill set and contacted people from all over the world, some of the most powerful people in the world, and they built an influencer network on a mountain in Utah. They bought this $50 million mountain in Utah, and then they have pretty much the most powerful people in the world every weekend. A couple hundred of them just go there, kind of like a TED, but every single weekend. And then they also organize a few thousand people to rent out a big cruise ship or stuff like that. But they use the art of cold approach, just reaching out to people, offering value, and having these right mindsets. Now for you actually will monetize the idea of managing influencers or marketing them or being an agent for them and being that agency of influence. But you, at some point, have to also use a lot of your natural networking skills. So I'm just curious, even though so much of what you do is word of mouth, how much of it is from the cold approach, you just contacting someone out of the blue, introducing yourself, as opposed to you just staying within your soul circle and your relationships that already exist?
So it's funny you say that, is because that's one of the things that I've wanted to talk to you personally about, is the cold approach, because obviously you know all about it and you guys have done these types of things. I typically don't cold approach because to me, number one, it's an insecurity. Number two, it's one of those things that I want that person to contact me so I genuinely want to give them value. If I reach out to you, you're not sure. You know, he's reaching out for his own good. I don't want to reach out and you think it's for my own good. I want you to reach out or hear my name, or at least be connected by someone. Like what you do all the time for me is connect me. You're genuine, so anyone you connect me with, they trust you. So I like that process much better. I don't want anyone to think that I want value from them. I want to show that I can give value to them with them directly contacting me. Would the cold approach work better? Would I get more business? Potentially. That's something we need to talk about.
You know, in terms of like the social circle and utilizing the power of that network to get business, I do think that that's definitely one of my strong skill sets, just like how you're like a true master of that kind of stuff. We actually are building a program called Social Circle Blueprint, where we have really powerful influencers like Paris Hilton, George Maloof, Dan Bilzerian, and other people that have a huge impact in the world, and using their social circles to leverage that. But at the same time, I look at guys like the Summit Series, or us, but I mean, there's Summit Series. What they did is, in order to build value to people, is they cold approach contacted people and said, hey, I'm inviting the 100 Forbes under 35 top Forbes 100 that are interested in hanging out on a vacation, first class tickets to go down to a resort, and I'd like to pay for your trip to hang out with these people, first class, all your food expenses, and just put it together. Now we have another guy named Larry Benet, who's a good friend of mine. You met Larry, yeah. So what he's doing is he's doing the same thing, but just organizing, just being the connector to network the head organizer of the Grammys, Oscars, Emmys, Golden Globes, and Davos, and just having them put together, because they're all fun, influential people, but they have that same interest. Or like some of the things that I like to do is we've contacted just random other YouTube celebrities that are interested in helping out a music video that we're creating, but they're influencers that have millions of followers in the world of dance, music, vocal training, engineering of audio and equipment. But just as it's just like it's so obvious of a partnership that you kind of have to cold approach, contact them. But we're still coming from a standpoint that I know I could offer you a ton of value. Now, yeah, you're right. They might not trust you unless you are able to convey that, you know, you're part of your soul circle, and those people are able to say, hey, I'd like to introduce you. And it's way more impactful and powerful. But I think one of the things that also allows me to connect with these people is also that I have a track record of history. They could Google me and they could look at my history. Now you're kind of able to show that for the talent that you manage by just saying, look, these are the influencers that I've already done this stuff for.
Exactly.
But just showing, hey, look, this is the exact campaigns and things that I've done.
And you know, it's a tough market, because if you think about it, these people have millions of followers, hundreds of thousands of followers. Most of them do not see someone from the outside in being able to bring value. Mm-hmm. So cold approaching it, sometimes it just gives the wrong feel. You know, a lot of these people don't realize they need help until they hear about the success of someone else and them working with me, and et cetera, et cetera. So word of mouth is something I really prefer there. Not only that, again, there's only so many people I can handle myself. And that's why we moved into the influencer marketing approach, because we don't have, I don't have to manage A to Z. I've proven what I can do with people. I'll still take people on, but it really needs to be value for both ends. It needs to be genuine. It needs to be genuine. So the influencer marketing is where we take value and we put them together. And it's not a full-time management thing. It's each campaign and it's done with, and we move on to the next.
One thing that we're going to be doing at this house is we're organizing influencer gatherings, wine tastings, cocktail parties, and meetings, just to have influencers network with each other. So
Absolutely.
Maybe that they're friends of other friends, but they come together and now they're part of my network and my friendship, my circle. At the same time, if they're, and that's probably the easiest way to expand your network and build these sticky relationships, because even if you haven't gone deep with these people, I feel like you're kind of leveraging the fact that you know people that they know. That's one definite way to do things. On the other hand, I like the idea of also combining that with some cold approach by contacting people that are outside the network, so I could get those people that are powerful and introduce them to the soul circle and they even know what's going on. One thing I like doing is I love going to events like Summit Series and other conventions where you have all these influencers and putting them together and just inviting them to do something. For example, I did events multiple times, multiple years in a row at Tony Hsieh's crib. He's the founder of Zappos. And we just gave them a free place to crash at one of Tony's condos, because he had like 100 of them. He just gave them all to me and let all my people I invited have a place to crash. And then we did an event in his living room where he would come out and host it and get involved. But I would say that out of those people, most of those people, maybe people I just cold walked up to, found out a little bit of what they did, and then if they kind of met the criteria of what I want to, I just immediately invite them in. And I think that's kind of like the natural thing I do to anyone. I think that's also like how we met. We kind of met just in brief passing while you're doing your photo shoot.
But that's why you're one of the biggest, best networkers in the world. You know, and it's the truth. That's who out there does things like that. You know, not many people.
So I believe that anyone you meet, even just like a normal person you meet at the pizza shop, you can learn something from. I've learned stuff from just random bartenders, just sharing ideas. And if you just have that open mind, when you meet those people that are true influencers, or people who have unique wealth of knowledge or political power or something, you could also just take that genuine curiosity, and then because you've built so many relationships, or just have such a wide field, a wide diverse amount of interests and topics that you could talk about, you have multiple threads.
You know, that's a good point. That's one of the biggest, that's what I love about networking. To put it short, is I love the fact that I'm only 25, but I've networked as much as possible, and I talk to as many people as I can, or read as many things as I can, is that where I'm at this stage right now, I can almost keep up with any conversation. You know, because I'm so diverse with the knowledge that I have, and the things that I like to look into, which is about everything. You know, anyone you talk to, you have something that is on the level of something they've been through, the hobbies they like, something. You could be on the same page with almost anyone. I would say you agree.
Definitely. What are some of the things that you like to read?
Man, I like to read into everything, man. Obviously, I love business. I'm on Quora all the time. I don't know if you've ever looked at Quora, but I love the fact of people just asking random questions. I surf through there, I'd say 5-6 times a week on people's random questions, and I love to follow up with the answers of anything. I like just to surf. I'm a link clicker. I read something, I see a link, and I keep clicking. I love to stay up to date on what's going on, but I also love to stay up to date in business. Every field I just love to look into. I mean, obviously, business is my passion. I love to look into those things, but once I look into business, like for instance, if you popped up on the page or your company popped up on the page, I'm gonna follow every name that was listed in that paragraph and look into them, look into their success, look into the things that they've been a part of across their success, and see how much I can look into what they've done and learn from it.
That's actually a good point. And when I'm really interested in a topic, that's exactly what I do. I will actually look at the names of people that are mentioned in articles, Google them, find out who they are, what they're interested in. Another thing I used to do is I used to spend at least 20 hours a week. I did this for like over a year, just looking up really interesting, powerful networks, social clubs in Los Angeles, in New York, in the cities that I frequent the most that I could get into. Then I reach out to those people, contact them, trying to find out how I could join, how I could add value to their network and their community, and then participate in all their events. And there's things like going to clubs like Carbon in NYC, where they rent out the presidential suites of different condos and hotels, or they would have restaurant tastings with influencers, business owners, CEOs, and celebrities in the entertainment industry, and how they're organizing these events. And what was really good about them is that I felt like I could contribute a lot, because most of these guys were male members. But I was able to develop a skill set where I could cold approach and meet a lot of girls, build Rolodexes of girls really fast, and introduce them to these events. Where a lot of these events would be like the guys will pay, and the girls, you can write any girls you want for free. So just roll in there with a ton of girls. And that also allowed me to network and get the interest of a lot of guys who were just interested in also meeting a lot of these girls. I imagine you probably get that a lot, since you're managing some of the most beautiful women on the planet. I think
that's the easiest approach, I would say. But if my aim, as far as doing that networking events and those things, I absolutely love those things. If my schedule allowed me to do that 6 months of the year, I would absolutely do it. And as you know, it's very expensive to do, but it's so worth it. Especially, I'm 25 now. I would spend as much time doing it as I could if my schedule allowed it, just because it will add so much knowledge and intellect to my future success. And I realize that.
What are the things that you're working on now that you think you're most passionate about?
Adding value. I want to add value to anything I work with. And honestly, I've told people this, and I've really kind of studied myself and asked myself repetitively, and I truly believe, I think I'm interested in anything I can add value to. It's someone's asked me like, hey, I know you've been involved with a clothing line before, and you've been involved with this and that. Like, which one would you pick first? And I never have an answer, and I always say, I'll sell panties and bras if I can. If I can add value to it and watch it grow, that's what I love. I love to watch growth. I love to watch my value cause something to grow.
Awesome. And I know you actually probably could do that, because a lot of your girls
I would say a couple years ago, no, but now I think we could get into that niche for sure. And that's the beautiful thing about influencer marketing, is if you have a great idea, if you have a great niche, if you have a great product, there are people you can put together and market the hell out of that product. I mean, and influencer marketing has caused overnight success for so many companies. It's only a matter of time this is the new era of marketing, and that most big brands catch on.
What are some of the last things that you would probably say to the people that were watching this video? Any ideas that you'd like to share?
I got a lot of ideas. We could talk forever, but as far as anybody watching this video, the most common question I get is, how are you 25 and where you're at now? And I'm gonna say the exact same thing. Get your mindset right. Continue watching and listening and reading things like this, and do it. Continue to practice, continue to work.
Outstanding. Thanks, bro. Cheers.
Thanks, man.